happy pod a Falcon Pal.
Hello, Somicron. Happy podcast day to you as well. Thank you for accommodating Memorial Day in the United States.
Yeah, no, you're most welcome. I heard you made hamburgers?
Certainly did. Made
Uh,
hamburgers, made some hot dogs.
and you've brought some for everyone to share. They're right over.
Yes.
Yeah, I, mine's in the mail.
Uh-huh. We had some leftovers, so I immediately
Oh,
posted some to you.
I get leftovers. I don't even get my own. I just get whatever's scraps people couldn't finish.
No, 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 no. Oh, is that what you think leftovers is?
Yeah.
Is that what it is in Australia? Like off of people's plates? That's what
No.
leftovers
Well,
is?
at the home, maybe someone might go, I can't finish this, I'll put it away for tomorrow. And they'll have that. That's not leftovers for
Yeah.
everyone. Right. No.
Right. Right. No, I'm talking about, we grilled up the hamburgers, we put them all on a plate. And then
Hmm.
the leftovers are the ones that are still on the plate that nobody's touched.
I don't like that with hamburgers.
Oh,
Here, it's like, okay, we have 8 people. How many burgers are we making? Who wants two? Who wants one? There are no
yeah.
leftovers in that scenario.
Oh, you never have people that are like, boy, I thought I could have two, but my eyes were bigger than my stomach. I can only have one. You're like, you have to eat it. We can't have any left over. That's not how this works.
There are children starving in Africa. Um,
Yeah.
I mean a little bit, but often that'll be like, okay, is anyone still hungry? Do you want it now? It doesn't get put away. Someone else just has a
Ah.
third.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, hamburger's on the way.
Okay.
Uh,
No pickles,
I
right?
figured you could, no, you could, I figured you could provide your own buns though, because I figured those would get kind of stale on the way. And you're a baker and everything, so like,
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Okay, good.
stereotyping me as always having access to bread, but fine. Um,
Uh-huh.
it's not like, oh man. So on another podcast that I listened to, someone was talking about one of the Reddits they're like attached to at the moment is r/mold, because it's
Mm.
just people being like, "Hey, I'm at the supermarket and I want to buy this beef. Are these black dots mold?" And it's like, "Yes, that's mold." It's like that for every single one. It's like, "Yes, that's mold." And a lot of the comments are like, "You should report that," and everyone going, "Who to? The FDA doesn't exist anymore."
Ah, the jokes. Has the FTA been disbanded or just kind of lower budgeted?
Uh,
FDA new.
yeah, sorry,
Mm,
budget. Uh,
FDA recommends no changes to COVID vaccine for this fall. It sounds like they're still around. But yes, I get it. Ha ha. Federal
ah,
government was dismantled. Ha ha. Jokes, jokes. Got it. All
jokes.
right.
But there is
Yes.
still a lot of mold in food, and
Yeah.
that sucks. Don't buy that.
No, definitely not. So yeah, the whole concept of like coming to a subreddit and getting the same answer every time. I saw a post on our like realtor, like realty,
Okay,
like
yeah,
selling your home.
yep.
And the post was like, the reason your home's not selling is because it costs too much. Lower your stupid price. Thank you. And it was like 10,000 upvotes.
Yeah.
All the comments were like, but what if what if I have like wood floors? It's like, oh my gosh. Look, if it's not selling, it means that nobody wants it at the current price point, you idiots.
Mhm.
Lower the stupid price. Like coming here to complain your house isn't selling and then explaining why it should sell for what you're listing it as doesn't help anyone. Yeah, very fun.
Yeah, yeah. Great.
Dude, there's this house on my street or the street leading into my street
Mhm.
that I see every day when I come in that has been on the market for like a year and a half. It was the first house with a for sale sign that I saw for a long time.
Okay.
Because for a long time over here, it was a house to go up for sale, bam, sold. Like, what do you want for it? Okay. And so nobody put up signs because there was no point to putting up a sign. And this was the first house I saw that had a sign. And I was like, oh, the housing market's slowing down.
Mm.
Interest rates are going up, housing prices are rising, monthly payments are higher. People can't quite afford to just snap up a house.
Mhm.
And it's still for sale.
Have you seen more for sale signs now? Like on your way to the gym? Okay,
Yes.
so it's not just
Yeah.
this one house that's not selling for some reason.
No, but it's the one that's been up there for 18 months.
Have
It
you?
is so long. I
I,
should figure out what they want for it.
yeah, I was gonna ask not to like out the kind of neighborhood you live in, but do you know what it's worth? Like, or is this the murder house and people are just like, I don't want to go there. Someone murdered their second wife there. You know?
Right? Right. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the history of this house. I don't know the people that live there. It looks like a fine house. It's not like someone's trying to sell like a meth house. It doesn't look like
Hmm.
it's garbage or anything.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can mm, do a quick search here. What the? Charleston? How did I end up in Charleston, West Virginia?
Country roads. They took you there. Um,
I put, oh, I fat fingered the zip code.
uh,
Gotcha.
it occurs to me that
There it is.
I know where you live, and I could probably find this house on Google Earth because it'll have a for sale sign, like on Street View.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Sometimes that Street View is like 8 or 10 years out of date. They don't
Mm.
update it that frequently.
Yeah, I find that it's true in like little podunk places
Uh-huh.
like Australia, but I imagine Salt Lake's a pretty regular
Pretty
place.
frequent.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, so I found the house. I'm not going to tell you how much it's listed for, but I will tell you that it says on realtor.com that the price has been reduced by $16,000 recently. So at least they are lowering the price. That's
Right.
good.
Do you want to
Yeah.
put the price in the in Discord so I can know?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Where is you? There is you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, two-car garage, built in 2005. Single family. Here's the listing if you want it.
Oh yeah, I'll take that.
I mean, it looks fine. I mean, I'm looking at the pictures. They look great. The kitchen's, pretty up to date. I don't see anything that's like scary. Like there's not a bathroom in the carpet or anything.
Right. For obvious
I
reasons, I
guess,
will not be showing this on stream. But
yeah. This is very excellent podcasting content right here.
yeah, things you can't look at.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Wow, this house looks lovely.
I know. Looks great. But it is not selling. It is definitely not selling.
If this was in Sydney, even like
Mm,
where I live, this is like a two.
right. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, I sent you the
Boom.
price and I was like, you're going to think it's ridiculously low. Yeah, I know.
Well, I think it's ridiculously low until I converted it to real money.
Ah, right.
Yeah. You know, add a half on top. You know.
Yep. Here, I'm going to check the street view for my house as long as I'm here. Let's see if we can
Ooh.
see if it, because I moved here 10 years ago.
Uh huh.
So if it's me, then it's up to date. And if it is the old occupants, it is not. Oh, here we go. Shoop, shoop, shoop. Oh, yeah, okay. Yep.
Oh
You
yeah,
know?
there's a for sale sign. I see it.
Yeah.
Which you I'm
Hmm.
now. Do they often do like a full post sign? Like your for sale signs look way nicer than mine. Is what I'm getting at. You've got like a post in the ground with a lantern hanging off of it.
I mean, it varies. Sometimes it's pretty cheap, and sometimes it looks like this. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's been that since the first day it went up for sale. I don't think they've changed it at all.
It's just I feel like that's an installation to get that done, right? And like they know that's gonna be on the
Yeah.
market forever. Um,
Yeah. Well, no, I bet what happened was they put it up for sale, assumed it would get snapped up in 48 hours. It didn't. And then
mhm,
they were like, oh boy, we might be into this for the long haul after like a month, right? So
mhm,
then they got
mhm.
a sign. I bet
Right.
that's what happened.
Do they always put the sign in a position that's like if you're
On the
walk
street?
no, if you're walking down the road or driving, you can see it like it's facing you. Because
Yeah,
here
yeah, yeah.
they face the road here.
Oh. So you're driving and you're like, what was that?
Well, it's usually like a bright yellow sign, and you're oh that's Bray White or
So then you
whatever
can
somewhere.
stop and look at it if you want and
Yeah,
see,
or
get some
because
information.
Sydney's a shithole, you go, hey, what was that? Oh, I'm gonna be sat in traffic next to it for the next 4 minutes anyway.
I can read the 500-word blurb about this that they
Right.
wrote. Yeah.
Well, they got Chat GPT to write. Yeah.
Mm. It is the year 2025 after all. Yes,
Hmm.
accurate. Hmm. All right, good, good. We got stuff to talk about.
We do, don't we?
Do you want to go Mission Impossible?
Sure. Refresh my memory about this movie. I legitimately sat down to try and think about what happened in this movie today,
Uh-huh.
and I got like some major beats, but like I feel like I hit the nail on the head on the StarCraft stream where I said it's a big budget Fast and the Furious movie.
Ooh, okay. Do you think it's not a Mission Impossible movie?
No, no, it's totally a Mission Impossible movie.
Oh, okay. Because that's my point. People that are like, I expected more. I'm like, I think it's an incredibly competent Mission Impossible movie.
Right,
If you wanted it to be something else, I don't know why. That's what it is.
right.
It wasn't gonna like level up and be this incredible like character study in the eighth installment.
Mm,
That wasn't gonna happen.
unlikely.
Anyway, yeah. So if people had expectations for it, that's their own darn fault. I had a good time with it. I think especially the pacing.
Mm.
It's like 3 hours. And I was at the end, I was like, hot dang, that did not feel like 3 hours to me. At no point where I checking my phone or like looking around, like, is this not over yet for me?
I feel like I did check my phone, but
Mm.
only when they were like, when he meets the president and they're all introduced. Like it's this slow reveal of like who the president is, and I feel like that's a character from an early movie who I didn't remember. So I was very
Oh.
tempted to be like, who is this person? On
Yeah,
my phone.
she's in the Dead Reckoning Part 1. She's in the previous film, which was in fairness like 3 years ago.
Right, but I watched it an hour before I saw this movie, and I
Yeah.
didn't recognize her. What part does she have in the Dead Reckoning?
I want to say she's the head of the CIA.
No, no, because the head of the CIA is the white dude that
No, no, no. There's the head of the IMF. And then
yeah.
there's the head of the CIA. Those are different
Right,
things.
but when he breaks into the meeting, she's not in there. Because it's a reveal who this person is.
That's an IMF meeting. That's not a United States government meeting, is it?
Yeah, it's a meeting of all like the security of the intelligence agencies, right? It's all of them.
I thought that
Well,
was more okay.
I don't know. Okay, fine. Let's say I don't know who that is. They're
Uh
all
huh.
old white dudes in that room.
Correct. No, that's true. That is true. Okay, so it's Angela Bassett. One, she's like a legend.
Mm-hmm.
Two, she plays a character named Erica Sloan, and she is a former CIA director, now president of the United States.
Right, but
So at some
what?
point, she was the director of the CIA.
Yeah, okay, but which movie?
Pull this up real quick.
The Basket.
Here, I'll just look up Erica Sloan, and then that'll give me her timeline on the Mission Impossible wiki. Yeah. She. This is not giving me what I want
She
out of
was in
it.
Fallout. She was the CIA director in Mission Impossible Fallout.
In Fallout.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in Dead Reckoning, she is the president, but she only shows up in a photo, apparently.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. And then she is the president in this one, too. But she actually gets to act, which is nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Got it.
I did not remember who this person is. I remember enjoying
Yeah.
Fallout. I might go
Yeah.
and rewatch it at this point.
Yeah, I watched it with my brother. I think it was the first Mission Impossible movie he'd ever seen, and he was like, "Oh, pretty good." It's like, yeah, it's not a bad one to come in on, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
but
was
she's the CI director, and she's the one that wants to get Geralt of Rivia.
John Locke.
Yes, John Lark, but also Henry Cavill to get
Henry.
Henry Cavill on the mission, right? And then he turns out to be a traitor, and it's like, oh, that was
Right. Yeah.
a great plan, Angela Bassett. Yeah,
You'd
and
make
then
a
somehow
great
that doesn't
president.
come back to bite her, and she's president later. So nice, good work.
Well, I mean, that's all black book operations. None of that's public. Like so.
No, it's true. That's true.
Um,
Anywho, so you're saying okay, so you're saying that scene was kind of slow for you, where they
um,
introduced.
yeah, a little bit because obviously
Yeah,
I don't know. It felt like, oh, are we gonna get a Tom Cruise prison break scene? And I felt like at that point it was very clear that the plot needs to move on, and he's not going to be here for very long.
yeah,
Just in terms of like
yeah.
where the story has to, I don't know, I'm dancing around spoilers. Like we know he has to go underwater to get to this submarine at some point, and it's like,
Uh-huh.
okay, well, it's already an hour and a half into the movie, and we still need to get him to find the thing and get underwater and do all that stuff. Like
Right.
just in terms of what I already knew based on having seen the previous movie and where that necessitates locations to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there was no way the movie was going to be like, and then Tom Cruise spends the whole rest of the film in prison and the
Right.
world
Which
ends.
is why
Thank you for coming to our movie.
I'd be like, oh, we're gonna get a Tom Cruise prison break scene. He gets arrested or
Yeah.
whatever, but he busts out. This is just way too long. It's already a pretty long movie.
Yeah. It definitely is a pretty long movie. Yeah. Who's the guy? Man.
Well,
So there's like 100 white guys that are always hanging around the president, right?
yeah.
There's Nick Offerman. There's
Ron Swanson.
Yep, Ron Swanson's in here. He's playing something.
He's playing like a
Secretary of Defense, maybe.
Yeah.
General of some military. Yeah.
Yep.
There's another dude. Nope, not him.
Nick?
I think it's Holt McCallany.
Holt? Is that the character or the actor?
That's the actor's name. That's where I know him from. He plays Bill Tench on Mindhunter.
Oh.
The Netflix series that I like so much. Because he would say stuff and his cadence and his voice, I'm like, I know that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that guy? And I couldn't figure it out. And it's freaking Bill Tench. Oh, that's awesome. Good on you, man. Glad you're still around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that I've seen him in? I don't think so, man.
I could look.
I think that's it.
He's in video games. What's he in? He was in. He did the voice role of Wade Vox in Star Wars Demolition, year 2000.
What the heck is Star Wars Demolition?
It is a.
I'm gonna click on it.
Vehicle combat game.
Oh.
Fair enough.
You know, this kind of looks incredible.
Yeah, kind of neat.
There's like a ATST on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you get to do?
You get to drive one of those droid vehicles in the Phantom Menace. Big tank looking things.
Critics felt the game was fun in short bursts, but it lost its appeal with extended gameplay.
Fair enough. He also voiced the mechanic in the 2004 video game adaptation of Fight Club.
Oh, wow. The video game adaptation of Fight Club.
Which, news to me that there was a Fight Club video game.
Yeah. Me too. I don't even... How...
What's about the final boss? You have to fight yourself.
Yeah, right?
Met with negative reception.
Yeah, like who was the guy that was like, man, this Fight Club movie is great. We should make it into a video game. And the people are like, yeah, great idea, man. Let's do that. Nobody was like, are you serious? This is the worst idea I've ever heard. It's a psychological thriller about some dude with an imaginary friend and schizophrenia. Like, I don't, I mean, I guess you could do something like Penumbra Overture or Amnesia or something like a horror game where it's like you're seeing things that aren't there.
Sure.
But that's not really what's going on. I mean, I don't know.
I'm willing to bet this takes the Fight Club literally, and it's just a game about fighting people in a club.
Yeah.
Maybe with like some anti-capitalist screed at the end.
Right. Probably. Anyway, he's in there. There are a lot of people in this movie for sure. Big cast. One thing I did kind of hit on as the movie ended, I was like, does none of the good guys die except for Luther in this whole movie?
Yes.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Uh-huh.
Like, no, not even like the people on his team, not even like the 10th guy on his team, like, dies.
Uh-huh. Yep. No
like,
one dies.
You've got 3 of the characters dismantling a nuclear bomb. The second nuclear bomb that needs defusing in this movie.
Which I'm gonna be honest. At that point, I stopped to think about the motivations of the character who gets kind of
Mm.
like dumped by the entity, right? Like he's like the entity's mouthpiece, and then he fails at something from the last movie, and he's on the outs, right? Like the entity's not really working with him, and is like,
Yeah, at
fine,
all.
fine, I'll do it myself. And yet this guy still has access to not one but two nuclear devices.
Yeah.
Where's he getting those?
Right? Without the help of the entity, how on earth is he maybe he got them already and he just had them in a warehouse somewhere?
Sure, but why can't the entity stop them? Like if
Yeah,
like
right?
the entity's like, I need to. It's also a big plot point that the entity is getting control of all of the nuclear weapons, except for
Mhm.
these two. Apparently, for some reason, these two the entity doesn't want.
Well, the entity can only access things that are on the internet. If they're networked somewhere, the entity can access it. So if you just have a nuclear bomb that's self-contained, has its own timing mechanisms,
Right.
then what's it gonna do?
Uh, we see all throughout the movie that the entity is also manipulating everyone through social media to start up like
Yeah,
insurgencies or whatever. It doesn't have to
yeah,
be direct control of the nuclear bomb. It can be any number of things to organize a plot where this guy doesn't have them. You know?
right. Because we see that somebody in like the Secret Service almost kills the president.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, the entity also somehow managed to manipulate all the events in the first movie so that Simon Pegg's character would happen to notice for a split second a suspicious package and then go and find it in an airport, and it happens to have a perfectly encrypted uh like puzzle set to his psychomatic personality profile for him to unlock, and it had to like manipulate all the strings to get everyone in the right spot at the right place for that
yeah,
to happen. But he can't do this thing can't do anything about a guy with nukes who is going to use the nukes to potentially kill the guy that you need to manipulate to get you into a bunker so you can survive nuclear fallout.
right.
I,
That's a good point.
I'm just
I feel like
this is
it
what
should
I'm
have been possible.
this is what
Yeah,
I mean by it's a really good Fast and the Furious movie. It's like, if you spend too much time thinking about everything, it does
yeah.
probably fall apart.
But that's Mission Impossible.
That's Mission
Like
Impossible.
again,
I wanted to see
right?
Tom Cruise run, someone pull
Uh,
off their face, and it turns out to be a mask. Some cool stunts that I'm sure Tom Cruise did himself, and I was
yep.
not disappointed.
No, exactly, exactly. There's some hot woman who's always with him, and there's kind of like something, but Tom Cruise cannot have sexual chemistry with anyone on Earth, and so it never goes there. But like, you get scenes where they're kind of alone together, and it's kind of intimate, but there's no sex happening at all.
Right, and also his like wife died in the last one.
No, she didn't.
No, she did. She gets stabbed on the
No,
bridge.
that's Ilsa. That's not his wife.
That was his love interest.
Fine. His love interest got murdered on a bridge in the last one. That's true.
So he's maybe just a little too raw at the moment, and doesn't want to move on in 2 months' time. Heaven forbid Tom Cruise have feelings, Falcon.
It's not what's happening here. It is. Look, man. You know in Top Gun Maverick?
I've not seen it.
Oh my gosh. All right, I'm going to tell you a scene that doesn't spoil anything, but he reconnects with someone from his past who's
Mm-hmm.
really hot.
Mm-hmm.
And we join them in bed together. He's got his shirt off. She's wearing clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And they are laughing uproariously about something.
Okay.
Are you looking for this?
No, 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 no. I was gonna make. I've got another point. Don't worry. It's about the
Okay.
who the actual hottest person in this movie is, because it's not Tom
Oh.
Cruise's love interest.
Oh. Okay. I'll be with you on that. But the point is, Tom Cruise, whatever his sexuality may be, it is not interested in these women. So he can't do it. He cannot act to a level where he's acting like he's sexually interested in these women.
You
And
you
they can do it all they want, but it never works.
you legitimately think Tom Cruise can't act romantically interested in a woman?
No, he can't.
Oh, that's interesting.
Dude, in original Top Gun, there's a literal sex scene that is the most awkward, weird,
Go
weirdly
shoot.
cut, weirdly shot thing that they're trying to make it work and it doesn't work.
Interesting.
That's all.
This is biography, filmography, acting credit.
Got like 100 movies. This is gonna take a minute.
Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly scan it to be like, is there a romance scene in any of these? Actually,
No, no, no.
a lot
There
short.
are romance
I,
scenes.
I'm, I'm,
I'm just saying
I'm.
they are not good.
That is a key thing that in my head I was looking for as well. It's
Mm,
like, have I seen
okay.
Eyes Wide Shut? No, but there might be a romance scene in that.
Mm, that one's
Romance.
complicated.
That one's complicated. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
does he portray like he's attracted to the opposite sex at the very least in that movie? Convincingly. Like, yeah, probably. In that movie, probably. Does he do it
You
in?
might be right.
Does he do it in The Mummy? No. Jack Reacher?
No.
Doubt it. Oblivion? No way. Tropic Thunder? Nope.
No. He's got a love interest in Days of Thunder.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
Also,
Nicole Kidman trying to play a neuro brain surgeon. It's hilarious.
that's funny. Do you know what
Uh-huh.
speaking of other podcasts we listen to, apparently they talked about Nicole Kidman has been doing a lot of work with just like very low budget films to
Oh.
specifically support female up and coming directors.
Uh-huh.
And Nicole Kidman is apparently very attractive in a movie she just did, which is a sexual thriller. And so, if you've ever been attracted to Nicole Kidman, go watch that. You're welcome.
No, is that the one where she has an affair with her assistant?
I have not seen it.
It's gotta be. It kind of made a stir around here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it's kind of like the story was weird and they weren't quite sure about like the message that it was trying to tell, like what it was at all exactly.
Oh really?
Yeah. So I mean, people talk about stuff that's weird, right? So it
Mm-hmm.
worked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where? It's called Baby Girl.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
yeah. So
Yeah, high-powered CEO Nicole Kidman puts her career and family on the line when she begins an affair with a much younger intern at her own company.
oh.
It's an A24 film. A24 is pretty great. They do good stuff. Anywho, yeah. All
Yeah.
right, let's go into your question. So, is Haley Atwell the hottest person in Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning?
She is incredibly attractive, obviously.
Mm,
So
mm,
nobody's gonna contest that point. But
no.
Tom Clementif, I hope I am
Oh, you're
I hope I am pronouncing that correctly.
right. You're into Palm. Okay.
Yeah, who I did not recognize her from Guardians of the Galaxy. I only I googled her to see who she was after the movie, and I was like, oh, Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy is actually the most attractive person in this. And there is a couple scenes in this movie where she's like in a crop top or whatever, and she's killing it. That's all I'm saying.
And literally killing it because she's constantly murdering people in this movie.
Also, yes,
Yes.
she's dangerous, and that's kind of hot.
Right. Right. Somicron likes a woman that can murder him in 3 seconds flat.
Yeah, it's true.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Noted.
That's
But yeah, there's that scene where Haley Atwell has like pulled Tom Cruise's frozen dead body out of the ice and is like has him in this like decompression chamber. And he's basically naked and she's laying in there with him and kind of giving him those googly eyes.
yeah.
Right?
I thought that was weird, but not because of Tom Cruise's acting, because of like his partner died a couple months ago, and this is very rapey.
Well, no, they just end up discussing how she thinks that he's the greatest person in the world and he can be trusted to control the entity. And part of me was
That's it.
like, did the entity get to her? Did the entity get to her to make her say this so that Tom Cruise doesn't want to kill it?
Is
But then, no, that's not what's happening at all. So it was fine.
is this the indoctrination theory of Mass Effect 3? Did the Reapers
Yeah.
get to Shepard?
Right. Right. But then, no, definitely not.
No.
Nothing she does for the rest of the film indicates that she's been indoctrinated. So it was just weird.
Ugh.
This, as always, this movie has a tough time with time.
Mm.
Where constantly it'll be like, there's about 34 seconds left, and you're like, there is not 34 seconds left. You're gonna have a conversation that will last at least 4 minutes,
Uh-huh.
and the bomb will have not exploded yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really thought that Also, are we hold on? Are we sure that bomb at the bunker is a nuclear device?
Which one?
The bomb at
The
the
first one or the second
the
one?
second one, the one at the
The
bunker,
second
the
one.
bunker.
Okay. Why?
Because they're in that bunker and they're like, "Do you think you can run 100 feet before it
Yeah.
explodes?" If that's a nuclear bomb, that's destroying that bunker.
Right. No, no, no. It's the same thing with Luther's bomb. You can disable the nuclear capacity, but
The detonator
the
charges. Yeah.
standard
Okay.
detonation will kill you, even if it's not a
Okay.
nuclear
Yeah.
device.
I,
Yeah.
I thought that was a
Yeah.
perfect setup to kill off a really deep cut character, right?
Me too. I thought all three of those people were dead.
Yeah. Oh,
And then it's like,
I
oh
thought
no, they totally made that. They made 100 friggin' yards in like
10 seconds. It is.
10. No way. No way. 60-year-old man and his Inuit wife made that. Other dude who looks like he actually works out every day, he could probably make it.
Mhm.
I don't know about the other two though.
Yeah. No. No. No.
Yeah.
Uh.
Okay. Same page.
Yeah. I thought it was a great place to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it has to have some stakes, and also that character, I he was in Mission Impossible 1.
Yeah.
What a deep cut,
Dude, so much of this movie is like, remember stuff that happened in the previous Mission Impossible movies?
which is very funny because I did not remember who the president was or any of these
Yeah.
people, and there's
You're like, I need all of these flashbacks.
there's literally a highlight reel of all the women Tom Cruise is supposed to have romantic relations with who all keep dying,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Yeah.
I guess there is a trend of that. I could watch all these movies back to back to back, and I wouldn't have picked up on that.
It's a pattern. It's
Yeah.
definitely a pattern. Yeah.
Ugh.
So what else do we get in here? We get I did kind of like the international political intrigue of the whole thing,
Mm.
where there's this AI that's taking control of the world's nuclear stores. And the way to stop it is to take your own weapons offline so it can't access them.
Right.
But if you do that, you leave yourself open to getting hit by somebody else. So nobody does it. And they
Right.
just wait for the AI to come take their nukes from them. It's crazy, but it totally makes sense. I was like, you know what? This is what countries would do.
Yeah, yeah, because like
Yeah.
they're also dependent on the idea of mutually assured destruction to keep themselves
Yep.
safe. That they can't do it. They're just like, I won't risk it.
Yeah. Until our president does. Good job, President Angela Bassett.
Mm-hmm.
She makes the correct decision to take our nukes offline eventually.
Yeah, at 11:59 on a doomsday clock, and it doesn't matter
Yes.
at that point. They don't have time to
Well,
cut the
why
hard
didn't she do
lines.
it earlier then?
She should
She should
have.
have done it earlier.
She should have.
Okay. Fair enough. You're right. They should have been like, okay, every other country's nukes are gone.
Mm.
Well, might as well take ours off with whatever
Yeah.
hours to spare. It'll be fine.
You,
yeah.
If everyone else's is compromised, they as a country cannot fire back at you if you attack first. So you
Yeah.
can safely take yours off because the entity wants to use all their nukes on you anyway and does not care if you retaliate because that would be helping it.
Because that's what it wants you to do.
So
yeah.
the moment you see who was last ones, like the UK, India, and China, last time you see and Russia, once you see all of them get like the control subverted, just turn yours off. Do it immediately. That's the right thing to do.
Totally agreed. I also like the idea that the entity wants to make sure all the humans die, so it needs all the nukes. And I'm like, no, America or Russia or China probably have enough nukes to kill everybody as it is. You don't need everyone nukes, man.
Right.
There are enough nukes on Earth to wipe out the human population about 17 times over. So, yeah, that was great. They really downplay the number of nukes there are on Earth. Yeah. It is thousands and thousands and thousands of them. Yeah.
Sure. They make absolutely no mention of this AI taking control of like automated production facilities to rebuild some sort of robot utopia in the future. It just plans to live in a bunker with all of Earth's media and do nothing. And
then once Earth is inhabitable again, it
does nothing. It can't go anywhere.
Yeah, like what's the plan here?
It also proposes that the bunker is solar powered, so it won't run out. But that much atomic warfare would create a a coverage across the globe lasting years and run
A
out of power.
nuclear winter that would last centuries,
Yeah,
thousands of years. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So again, great movie. Don't dig too deep.
Don't think about it too much. It's all about the action scenes
Yeah,
and Tom Cruise running. You were
yep.
right. He runs a lot.
He runs a lot.
Dude, when he's running after the plane, I was like, Tom Cruise, do not make it so you catch this plane.
Plane.
That's ridiculous. And then he didn't catch the plane, and I was like, oh, good.
Yeah.
I bet he wanted to. I bet he's like, all right. And then Ethan Hunt runs and catches the plane, and the director's like, Tom, come on, man.
You think so?
What if we just make a second plane and you grab that one, and then it's more fun? Oh, that's a great idea. Let's do that.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Tom Cruise also produces these movies. I bet if he wanted to catch the plane, he could have leveraged his clout and been like, he's catching the plane.
I know. I feel like he was talked out of it at least.
Oh, hopefully. I mean, I very much hope that there was a conversation on set about whether or not he could catch a plane, and then to prove that he tried and couldn't. Right? That's
Yeah. Oh, I hope that happened. I hope after he dies, we get that video. It's like, all right, so we had to wait until Tom was gone, but look at this. He's trying to catch a plane at like 62.
Yeah.
He's not 30 anymore. He's not the young Tom. Dude, those clips where they're showing young Tom in the first Mission Impossibles, it's like, holy crap. Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it?
This is really a
He's changed a lot.
franchise. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. So yeah, I mean, the plane stuff, all of that was nuts. Like the idea to put somebody in a biplane, like in between the two wings on one of the sides and just kind of like floating in and out as the guy's trying to shake him off and like doing circles and spins and stuff. Insane stuff.
Yeah.
Crazy. Constantly like trying to climb from the bottom of a plane up into the cockpit while it's flying.
I was a little annoyed that the first guy's like, you know, you're going down. I'm the only one with a parachute, and flies out and gets his head splattered immediately or whatever. And then Tom Cruise gets into the other seat and goes, "Oh, look, another parachute."
Right. And then his parachute bursts into flame for some reason that I don't understand.
Friction. It's all friction. Like,
because you're like, how do you get a parachute? And then it goes whoosh, and you're like, what the hell? It totally distracts you from what's going on. Because he does. He's like, I'm the only one that has a parachute. Bye. And it's like, oh no, Tom Cruise, what do you do? And it's like, no, there's another parachute. He missed it. Yep. What?
Why was there another parachute?
I don't know. I enjoyed Benji with a collapsed lung trying to narrate how to save the world while like fainting from blood loss.
He has to both direct someone to hack a system and how to perform his own surgery to reinflate his collapsed lung
with a pen. Yeah,
it's a great scene, possibly the best in the movie.
It really is. Yeah, because a couple times he goes unconscious, and whatever her character name is, Palm like twists his ear or like slaps him around a little bit. Yeah, super good.
Oh, yeah. 99% of this movie could have been avoided if Ethan Hunt just kept the USB dongle from Luther instead of like letting the bad guy kill him and take it.
Yeah, I mean, it showed why he made Luther hang on to it. Because him taking it basically accepts that Luther's going to die, and he doesn't want to do that.
Right. Also, was Luther sick in any of the other movies?
Yes.
Because I watched Dead Reckoning Part 1 on 1.3 speed before this movie, and he wasn't sick in that.
Nope. You're right. It's new.
Yeah, they're just like...
It only shows up in this film. It's like, he's dying now.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of interesting because, so it's Ving Rhames, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've never thought he's the greatest actor.
Okay.
But, like, they let him... Everything he says is incredibly sincere, right? They don't try to make him this macho action man. He's not the funny guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's just there to like say really sincere monologues at people and make them feel things, and he's pretty good at that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I think it's one of the best examples of an actor staying in their lane and just doing what they're good at doing for several films and just kind of always knocking it out of the park. Never being asked to do anything else, never doing anything else, but just being a really important part of the film that just kind of makes everything work.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the movie that I know him from.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, he's in the Final Fantasy movie Spirits Within, which he's like it's an animated role. And
yeah.
I obviously recognize him as Marcel Wallace from Pulp Fiction. You love Pulp Fiction.
Yes, that's a good one. It's a good part.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't he Kingpin in the original Daredevil movie? But I don't see it on this list. What year it came out? Can't search for it.
Ving Rhames, Wikipedia, Daredevil. No Daredevil on his whole page.
Who is Daredevil? Who's Kingpin in Daredevil? 2003. Not Ving Rhames. Michael Clark Duncan.
Oh yeah, from the Green Mile.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
That is my bad.
It's all good.
Both good actors. That's
yep,
why I'm
you're a little
confused.
racist. That's fine.
Fuck you. They're both really tall.
Yeah, big men. Definitely both big men. Agreed. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's just weird that he's the only one to die. Literally, no one else on the good guys team dies.
Mm-hmm.
I guess friggin' Ron Swanson dies, but he has like 4 minutes of screen time in this movie alone, and no one cares.
Right, and based on how Ron Swanson ate in Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I'm not surprised.
He's probably gonna die in a year anyway.
Right.
Heart disease.
He's got what Luther's got, apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a doubly annoying thing. He's the only one who dies, and they also set it up that he's dying inevitably. Like, medicine can't save him. He's going to die, and they kill him off.
Right. It's like there are no stakes here.
Tom Cruise produced this movie, killed the black guy first. Who's the racist now?
Kill the black guy only.
Well, they killed the bad guys.
They don't count. I mean, but like Luther and Benji are the only two that have been in every single Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And now it's just Benji.
Just Benji.
Just him. And he's continually great. I love him.
Okay, so are they gonna make more for these Mission Impossible?
Absolutely, dude. Tom Cruise is gonna do these until he's dead, either because he dies doing a stunt for these movies, or because he just dies of natural causes. One of the two things is gonna happen.
Okay, I mean, I'm just pointing out that this movie apparently had a budget of 300 to 400 million and got 200 million at the box office. Right,
so far, sure.
It's
like opening weekend. It's doing great.
It's been out for 2 weeks. What are you on about?
It only hit America just now. That's where all the money comes from.
Okay.
Remember? That's why we get it late.
Yeah, it's a good point. But I really feel like the scene at the end where like they all meet up and stare at each other across from like the thing is them being
I know.
Goodbye. I'll never see you again, my friends. You're the most important thing.
There's no way in hell that Tom Cruise doesn't get another one made.
But, I mean,
there's no way.
Even like 4 movies ago, he was trying to get rid of the series to Jeremy Reynolds.
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah. That's it, yeah.
Yeah, which is funny because Jeremy Renner both was tapped to take over the Mission Impossible franchise and the Bourne franchise, and neither one took. Poor Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just very funny. It's like they had all these plans, and then they get them in place, and they're like, no, this isn't working. Very funny. Yeah, I'm just saying, he's gonna keep he loves doing this. Did he have, before the film, was there a little, like, Tom Cruise, like, thanks for coming to the movies, like, you're the best, There wasn't a little thing like that at the start of the Mission Impossible.
Not that I remember.
Oh, interesting. They only do it in America?
You guys also clap at the end of films, don't you?
We do not know.
I've heard that you do. At least on opening weekend.
Nope,
Maybe it's just the moment. You can't.
maybe. But also no.
I mean, have you ever seen a film out of state?
Yeah,
Idaho doesn't count.
Texas.
Oh, okay. That's where
Yeah,
I heard that they do it.
gotcha. That's fair.
Mm.
No, it just does this little
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It's a little thank you thing before the film starts. It doesn't even matter.
Okay.
But I'm just saying the point is that he loves doing this. It's all he has ever done for the last 30, 40, 50 years now.
Mm. I think he definitely took on much more variety of roles when he was younger. Because looking at his
Yes.
filmography, it's like 2015 he did Rogue Nation, then he did Jack Reacher, which is another spy thriller essentially,
Yep.
and then he did The Mummy in 2017, which holy shit, that's a terrible movie.
Yep.
American Made, where he is a CIA agent, I think, like an action comedy, but he became an informant for the DEA.
Right.
And then he did Fallout, and then Top Gun Maverick, and then these two movies. So it's
Yep.
in the last like decade, he's basically done 4 Mission Impossible movies and not a whole lot else.
Correct. So what's your point? He's gonna
Um,
stop doing Mission Impossible movies. That's all he's got left, man.
I mean, he has an untitled a la something. That doesn't look like English. I can't pronounce that word.
Hmm.
Alejandro something. Pronounce that for me. Alejandro G.
Inarritu, sure.
Inarritu film. Apparently, he's
Yeah.
tapped for beyond. So he's doing something else, but
Yeah, and I mean, look, like you said, when he was younger, he did much a greater variety of movies. He did
Mhm.
comedies, he did courtroom thrillers, right? He did all this stuff,
Minority.
and he was good at it. And then he kind of just stopped doing all that stuff and doing this. And I listened to a podcast where these guys went over Tom Cruise's entire career, and they're like, I hope as he gets older, he starts realizing he can't do this crazy action stuff anymore, and he starts settling down and doing some more quiet, like character studies type roles, which he can do.
Mm.
It'd be interesting to see him try it again as he ages.
Right, right.
So we'll see. I don't know, man. I googled Inarritu and it shows me this dude, Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu. Iñárritu. That's an Enya there. Iña.
Oh, okay.
He's a Mexican filmmaker. So is that the director of the film that he's going to be in?
I assume so, yeah.
Okay. He did The Revenant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear good things. Although it did pop up on a Instagram story of like movies people only pretend to like. I'm like, I'm sure people like that.
Fair. I mean, this one. Okay, so it's an American comedy film, tentatively titled Judy, from a
Okay.
screenplay by the director Iñárritu, with
Sure.
Jesse Plemons. Cool. Emma D'Arcy, John Goodman. Holy crap! I'll watch this maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like John Goodman a lot.
Have you seen? I think it's Mark Wahlberg in Gambler. John Goodman's in it. He's like this
Nope.
loan shark.
Uh
He does all of his like meetings in a sauna, so it's just Goodman half naked, being very intimidating as like a gangster.
Awesome. That sounds great. I like him in Cloverfield Lane a lot.
Have not seen it.
Oh, Mary Elizabeth Wanstead, John Goodman. It's good. Mm-hmm. Anywho, what else did I want to talk about this movie? There's no Vanessa Kirby in this.
Actor names, please.
The Black Widow, the White Widow. What's she
Oh,
called?
right, Alana.
Is that what her name is?
That's her character name, yeah.
Oh, Alana.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Let me have a look. Alana.
you're right. It is
Mitchell.
Alana.
Yep.
The White Widow.
Yep.
Yeah, not the Black Widow. The White Widow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I missed her. She was so good in the first one, in the previous film, and she's not even here at all. It's very
No,
sad.
she like gets written out of the story. Like she's very integral in the
Huh.
first one, and then like
Yeah.
her part's up, and
She's
she's like, okay, I guess I'll just not involve myself in the rest.
right. She's still the White Widow, which apparently she's like this arms dealer that is closely working with the CIA.
Sure.
It's an interesting role. Anywho, she's in the new Fantastic, of which there was a trailer before
Ooh.
the Mission Impossible for this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's gonna be Susan Storm,
Hmm. A generally thankless role.
one that goes unseen.
Ha ha
Yeah. I
ha.
mean, do we have high hopes for this mission? Not mission.
Nope,
Fantastic Four. No, you don't.
we do not. I think it's got a decent chance to succeed.
Uh huh. It's got Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, but I've always said the actors don't matter nearly as much as the writing and the plot and the direction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could have Vanessa Kirby and Pedro Pascal in this, and it could easily suck. It could be the worst thing of the year, 100%. So I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see what reactions to it are.
Yeah, I did see someone on Reddit point out that in the poster, I don't know if you've seen the poster. It
Mm,
has all of them wearing their Fantastic Four costumes, where it's like blue and white. For whatever reason, Pedro Pascal's is different, where he doesn't have the white across the top and then down the
mm,
arms. His is just like
mm.
all blue there. His one is different for some reason. He's not actually apart or he's above. I mean,
Well, it's Richard
Yuri,
Reed. He
he
is a
is.
genius asshole. That's what he is. Yeah.
Right, I'm just saying, but if you're gonna market your movie as like, here's a team and we all have matching costumes, make sure the costumes fucking match.
Well, unless you're trying to communicate the fact that this guy doesn't fit in with the rest of them because he thinks it's better than they are.
Right, but he's still wearing most of the uniform.
He is. He is. I don't know. Yeah, I was talking to my brother about it last night, and he's like, "So they've never made a good Fantastic Four movie?" And I'm like, "They have not. They have tried, and they have not."
I really want to see the Fantastic Four movie that never came out.
Ooh, when was that?
Uh,
When did they make it?
1992 or something.
No way. I don't think I know about this.
Yeah, yeah. So, basically, when Marvel was like going out of money, they sold the rights to of a bunch of different stuff. So there's a clause that you have to make something with it every 7 years or whatever. That's why we got Fan
Mm.
Four Stick, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
they were gonna lose the rights. So in it was in like the early '90s that they made a movie for like $30,000. Like it had a tiny budget, and then they just
It's German.
is it German?
Wikipedia says it's an unreleased English language German superhero film
Yeah.
from 1994.
There we go.
Whoa, it had a budget of $1 million.
There you go.
Even in 1994, that is nothing.
Right. Yeah, and they
It
never
has
put
a
it out.
Rotten Tomatoes rating, even though it was never released. What the hell? One of the reviews says, yes, it's a terribly low budget, and yes, it's desorally campy and feebly performed. But at the same time, there's also something inquiringly irresistible about this B comic tale that makes you wonder why it didn't get released somewhere along the line. Script isn't actually all that bad.
Like they booked the world premiere. I'm looking at on Wikipedia. It's like we're gonna have like premiere at the Mall of America in Bloomington, Minnesota. With
Awesome.
proceeds from the event
Awesome.
earmarked for charities like the Ronald McDonald House and Children's Miracle Network. And then suddenly the premiere was halted. The actors received cease and desist orders on all promotions from the producers, and the studio confiscated the negatives.
Yeah, so that's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do firmly believe subject matter matters least when it comes to how good a movie can be. If you've got good writing, good acting, good characterization, good everything else, and the subject matter is weird or ridiculous, it can still be good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like Ratatouille is my favorite example. Just a movie about a rat learning how to be a French chef in Paris. Should that make any sense? No. Should it be good? No. Is it good? Yeah. Somehow it is. Go figure.
Go figure.
Can be done. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tom Cruise survives the movie. Everybody else survives the movie.
If you're Luther and you know you're dying and you have a chance to leave a final message to your friend in this little magical USB stick, don't make it self-destruct in 5 seconds. Like,
No, the point was to destruct the entity.
no, but the entity wasn't in that. It was in the other.
But
It was in the glowy magical USB stick.
it was. But I thought the original source code was still in the brick.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
But
Maybe that's what he was
okay,
destroying.
okay. If you need to destroy that, maybe leave your final heartfelt message to one of your best friends, not on the self-destructing USB stick.
Like, email him a nice heartfelt video.
Right.
Yeah. And not only is it heartfelt, it's like, Ethan, you are the savior of mankind.
Right.
You are fated to save the world over and over again. It's like, okay, this is a little heavy-handed.
It's like, okay, the Scientology's creeping in, Tom. Let's reel it back a little.
Oh, goodness. All right. So yeah, I saw some people be like, the Mission Impossible was disappointing, and I'm like,
What, what was there to be
it is
disappointed
what
by?
it is. Right. It is a Mission Impossible film. Like, if they try to give me a Mission Impossible film that doesn't have action set pieces and Tom Cruise doesn't run
Mm-hmm.
and there's no Benji, then I'm like, I'm out. You're right. This did not live up to the possibilities of what it should have been, but this one did. So until that day happens, everything's fine.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Wasn't Mission Impossible based on a TV show?
Yes, from like the 60s.
So they like what was in that? What? Because obviously Tom Cruise wasn't running in the 60s.
No. No, it's like a kind of a campy comedy about like a secret spy agency. It's not even really supposed to be taken that seriously, from what I understand.
Okay. Wonder if they
Here, what
could
does it call it?
Mission Impossible, the 1960s.
Well, it's called an espionage series.
American espionage television. Sue aired on CBS for
Yeah.
7 seasons.
Yeah,
Went for a while, and
sure did.
then 2 seasons on ABC. Wow, 9 seasons.
88 to 90, yeah. I didn't know about that one, I don't think. I guess it's taken more seriously than I thought.
Hmm.
I'm reading the Wikipedia page and it seems like, yeah,
None of these characters are called Ethan Hunt. Although there is a character called
no.
Paris, which is Tom Clementif's character, is also named Paris. But
Oh.
this Paris was played by Leonard Nimoy.
Oh.
Who,
Oh.
I mean, hot take. I don't think is quite as attractive, but you know, in a pinch.
No, probably not. It's kind of attractive in an unconventional sort of way.
Yeah, and I kind of Spock kind of way.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, well,
Anyway, enough. We'll get another one of these in like 3 years.
3 years. Full on it.
Yep. Okay. Gonna happen.
Alright. Is that it for Mission Impossible? Was there anything else we wanted to?
I think it is. I think that's all I wanted to say about it. I did. I guess I just want to say that Haley Atwell is in the last movie. She's like a pickpocket and a thief.
Yep.
And then she ends up being central to like saving the entire world because she has really fast sleight of hand. And it's like, this is a big step up for this character.
It's the final scene where she needs that sleight of hand is not even like a
Mhm.
pickpocket sleight of hand where you need to do something fast and stealthy. You can be as
Right.
obvious about it as you want. You just have to be quick. I feel like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
reaction times of a fencer or like a duelist is probably just as good. Maybe swap those two people. Swap their roles at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same result. Anyway.
That's it. Warhammer?
Warhammer. Yeah.
Warhammer.
We read First and Only by Dan Abnett.
Yeah.
You got the omnibus, so you'd stop in the right place, right?
I mean, probably not, but that's okay.
Did the book end, or did it not say, and now you're reading Ghostmaker?
No, it just does this thing where it's like, here are really big words on a page all by itself, and you have to intuit that that means the book is over and a new one is starting.
So it didn't say like
It's done this
it
before.
didn't have like a cover page that said Ghostmaker
No,
starts here.
no, no, it did not.
Interesting.
It doesn't matter.
It
It's
doesn't.
fine.
We didn't read
Nope.
Ghostmaker. We read First and Only. Um,
Yeah,
this book was written in 1999, so before Eisenhorn was even written by a good 6 years.
I know. And I'm one thing I took away from the book is I'm kind of impressed with the consistency. Like the feel of this book in the Warhammer universe in 1999 is basically anything from 20 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just is right. It's just like, as I say, Warhammer is, boy, everything sucks. And there's a lot of bad stuff happening.
Uh-huh.
And humanity is just doing its darndest to try to stay alive and push back against the darkness a little bit sometimes. And that comes through here, man. Like
Yeah,
that's
sure.
what it is.
Sure,
There's no
sure.
great victory. People die all the time. There's terrible stuff going on. There's betrayals and there's people seeking power for their own justification. And the Imperium is full of garbage going on, but there are some people that are trying to do good. Like that's exactly what's still happening. I just they haven't left that track in 30 years, and I'm kind of impressed by it.
Yeah, yeah. Dan Abnett
Yeah,
continues to nail it to this day.
yeah, right, exactly. And it's not even like, man, this sure feels like an early Dan Abnett book. He's not doing good. Like he's a little sloppy here. No, he's nailing it. He's doing what he does.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. I was impressed.
I'm gonna say that if you really like this book and like the characters in it, Dan spends the next 20 years with these characters in more books. You will
uh,
grow to love them like your own children. It is
yeah.
such good storytelling in the books. But I'm not here to spoil those. And talk about
Nope.
First and Only. So, Colonel Commissar Ibram Gaunt and his Tanith First and Only. They are the first and only because there are supposed to be 3 regiments of them, but they did not get off the planet in time before it was destroyed by chaos in a single night.
Because somehow they were setting up a founding on this planet for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And during this process, chaos ships slipped through the Imperial picket line and wiped the planet out.
Yep.
And the decision had to be made. Do we want to try to do a final stand and try to save the planet? It's doomed. We're all going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Or do we run and try to do some good for the Imperium somewhere else and leave our home planet to burn?
Yeah.
Which is an honestly pretty compelling introduction to a squad, right?
Right.
That's their that's their moment. That's what started their whole thing, was abandoning their home world to burn because the commissar said they needed to leave. Some guy they'd never met before. He's not from their planet. He doesn't understand, and he made them leave.
Uh-huh.
Good times.
And
yeah.
And on top of that, Ibram Gaunt is like one of the patricians, which is like the rival regiment that like they're the antagonists basically in the story, and they're very like formal, high breeding, and he is in charge of them, and they're considered wild because they like don't get lost in the woods, you know, and they grew up with jobs where they have to work with their hands.
Yeah,
you know, and so it's him coming down and being like, no, you guys don't get to make a final stand here. The Emperor raised this regiment to do some good in the Sabbath World Crusade. That's what we're doing.
Right. You've already been assigned out. Yeah.
And so everything we get later from all of the characters is a lot of them having like mixed feelings, where it's like Gaunt is clearly a very good colonel, right, and a good commissar, and he has what's actually best for us in mind, even though he knows he has to spend us in war. But also, he's the bastard that wouldn't let us fight for Tanith, right? And
right.
so you get people like Rawn, who's utterly bitter, and Gaunt's like keeping him close as like second in command under who is the other guy? Corbeck, Colin Corbeck. Yeah, he's the actual first in command. But you also get people like Doc Dorden, who's just like, I was a medic on Tanith, and you know I'm getting old, but these are the last Tanith boys. I'll be here until I die, or they do, you know. And you can, you get like, that's I imagine, a 2 paragraph sentence or conversation out of the doc, and you feel it immediately that this guy's like, there's nowhere else to go. This is it. This is
Yep.
all of home is here in this ship. You know.
Yeah, this is it. Like there's nowhere else to go. There is no home. This is home wherever these men are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Are there any characters you liked? Oh, but you can go
So
now.
the kid who's obviously a psyker, I'm curious how long it takes people to figure this out.
Bryn Milo, the boy,
Mm-hmm.
he's Pretty Boy's no psycho. How dare you? He just knows what the commissar wants. Can tell he's Radar O'Reilly from MASH. He can tell when the choppers are coming or it's about to start shelling. You know,
Uh-huh.
he can know his way through an underground tunnel. He's not a psycho. There's no way.
Just kept waiting for someone to be like, so this guy.
Ugh.
That's all. I mean, they don't have an Inquisitor like embedded with him or anything, but still. Yeah, like Gaunt's educated. He's supposed to know how this stuff works. He should be able to see the signs of a friggin' psyker in his own retinue.
Okay, so I mean, if Gaunt's educated and he's met psychers, like much of the book has him dealing with a psyker in flashbacks at least.
Mm-hmm.
Does he not maybe lend some credibility that Bryn might not be a psycho? He might just be an intuitive kid who picks up on things. It's like, yes, the commissar always eats his ham and eggs at 8 a.m. I'll have them ready at 8 a.m., you know?
That is not what's going on here, and you know it. Look, so the other option is that Gaunt recognizes that he's a psyker and doesn't want him to get shipped off to probably a worse fate than he
Right.
already has.
He wants to use
Right?
him.
So he keeps it quiet. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is there anything that okay, so let's take one of those things that I said, which is that when they're in the underground tunnels in the train system on Fortis Binary, Pretty Boy Milo is like, I think we have to go back to that intersection and take a left, right? Would you also set up that all the Tanith are really good at keeping their direction?
Yeah. Why is the boy the one who does that and not
'Cause-
all the adults who have way more experience than he does?
Because he's the commissar's adjutant. It's his job to be like next to him and point things out. The rest are all like,
okay.
are you questioning the commanding officer? They don't want to do that.
Anyway, I'm just eventually this will come to a head if there are 20 books about this, and I'm just waiting for it to happen.
I think it's literally the next book.
I do like that they talk about Tanith where the trees move.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
which feels kind of chaosy to me.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
Just Triffids. It's
concerning.
Fine. Just Triffids.
Just what?
Triffids.
What?
You
What?
not heard of Day of the Triffids?
I don't think so.
I think it's like a really old movie. My dad loves it, but it's about plants that like get up and walk around and eat people.
Okay.
Yeah, Day of the Triffids. It's a novel. John Wyndham. Yeah, it's just plants that get up. It was made into movies and TV shows and stuff.
Okay, fair enough. Moving plants, got it.
Yeah, so
Ents.
Ents. Yeah, it's another way to look at it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: they're not harmful. These trees of Tanith. They just get up and walk around and move based on like whatever it is plants base their things on.
And makes it so you get lost in the forest real easy. And in order to not get lost, you have to be really good at knowing where you are. Why the Tanith are really good scouters and trackers.
And that's why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, certainly does.
Good as reason as any in 40k, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah. So, they do. There are in the further books moments where they're like, the las guns that they have all have gnarlwood stocks. Like they made their guns on Tanith, and they all have stocks made of the trees that get up and move. And they're like,
yeah.
And this is all of the last of the wood, that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Like every single rifle is a precious piece of their homeworld, and they're slowly losing them over time.
Brutal. 40k, man. 40k.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's so good.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
So one thing about the Inquisitor in the story,
Inquisitor
two
Haldane.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah, Haldane.
you
Number one,
you've read a
go
book
ahead.
with him in it before.
With Haldane?
I have another Dan
No.
Abnett book. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have no idea.
Would you like me to explain this? Because you're not
Go
gonna
ahead.
pick it up. Okay, so you remember Xenos by Dan Abnett with Inquisitor Eisenhorn when he gets stuck pretending to be like a grain merchant or whatever, and
Yeah.
they capture him, and then they end up in a coliseum fighting a bunch of big cats.
Yep.
The Inquisitor's interrogator that goes with him, who then later becomes an Inquisitor, that's Haldane.
Holy what?
Yeah,
Seriously?
that's Interrogator Haldane, who gets his
Doesn't he
face.
die in this book?
He dies in this book. This book is canonically set after Inquisitor Eisenhorn. Then yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes more sense then.
yeah.
Got it.
So in the second Eisenhorn book, he's like a massive psychic dickhead who's like,
Mm-hmm.
after the Thracian Primaris outbreak and the psychers on the loose, and he's like, he's a full Inquisitor at that point. He's like telepathing to everyone, and they're all like, "What are you doing? There's a psyker on the loose. Why are you openly using your psi?" And he's like, "It doesn't matter if I whispered. He could hear it anyway." And he's trying to take charge, and is a real dick to Eisenhorn. And you meant to
Yeah.
hate him, and it's because Dan Abnett had already written his horrible, horrible death.
Right. Okay. That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So that's three things, I guess. The third thing is, wow, this guy came back. And the first thing, the first thing is, I just like the concept that this Inquisitor is very interested in skirting the line.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Haldane talks several times to himself about how this concept of like, yeah, the darkness is bad, chaos is bad, but like we can't spend all of our time in the light either. Like that's not good either. We need to be in the gray, use weapons from chaos to fight chaos. And I was like, oh, that sounds real familiar with every other Inquisitor I've ever spent any time with.
Now knowing that this guy spent some time with Eisenhorn, where do you think he got the idea from?
Do you think so?
I think maybe, yeah. Except this is an Inquisitor who
Oh,
does not have like the strength of will that Eisenhorn does to stay on the right side, even if it is just barely. Haldane
right.
has it fully gone over to like the dark side, where he's like, I'm gonna turn people into puppets, I'm gonna manipulate them psychically, and I'm gonna go find Men of Iron. Which
Yep.
last week I mentioned that this book deals with something that feels like it should be very big in 40k. Like this should be one of the like galaxy changing events, and the AI robots that nearly destroyed all of civilizations in the galaxy
Yeah.
is just kind of tacked on at the end, where they're like, oh yeah, they found some men of iron, but they blew them up. The end.
Right. But they blew them up. That's why.
Right.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's I don't know. What's like a good way to put it? It'd be like telling you I wrote a story about human history, but also I met Julius Caesar, right?
Okay.
It's like you go back in time to like the Imperial myth, and it's like, okay, here's a story about some guard regiment, and they met Julius Caesar. It's
I guess.
it's very it's just hard to explain because the Men and Iron are like this thing. They're not a playable faction. You can build and paint them.
Huh.
Lair of the Beast Combat Arena. It comes with about 12 minis and is a 30-minute game. And
Hmm.
I don't know if you can see it, but right there, the Men of Iron. He's pretending to be a like an Adeptus Mechanicus droid, basically.
Okay.
That's what it says. But like these things
Okay.
are supposed to be hugely important in the like the myths of like why the Imperium hates AI. And then
Right.
here are some
They
god
just find some.
they just find some. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Not only do they find some, they find a machine that can make more.
Right. But also, everything's been incredibly corrupted by chaos.
Also
So have
true.
fun with that.
Also true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because from the perspective, I had the perspective of like, it's an STC thing from all the times ago. Holy crap, this is awesome. They like the Imperium finds STC stuff buried fairly frequently. It's not like, well, okay. So like, how many times in the history of
So
30 and 40K.
okay,
Like
so
six? What are we talking
if we
about?
go back to the Horus Heresy books we read, Arcan Land, he was like lauded as like this famous tech priest because he found the SDC. Um, okay, so just an aside on my aside, SDC
Hmm.
stands for Standard Template Construct or
Yep.
Constructor. It can both be like a floppy disk with like the blueprints on how to make a thing, but it can also be the thing that makes a thing. So
Right.
STC can get a little confusing. Archenland found the STC like archives to build the Land Raider and the Land Speeder,
Right.
which are the tanks that they use from Horus Heresy all the way through to 40k. They're still in use because they haven't found anything better.
Right.
And it is
Okay. So, but Brett, my question is, how many of these have they found?
then they're not going to be able to give you a direct number. The Adeptus Mechanicus consider the quest for knowledge to be the search for STCs. That
Okay.
all knowledge in the universe can be found
Look,
because it's
no, no, no.
already been
You're
made.
answering the question of why is STC important? I know why STCs are important. I'm saying how frequently do they find one?
They describe it in this book that they last time they found it, it was considered the technological advancement of the century,
Okay, so
and
every 100 years they find one?
maybe right,
Okay.
and all it did was print better knives, right?
That was funny. Yeah.
So they might be finding STCs, but it's like great, a longer lasting light bulb. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Awesome.
we have LEDs now. Woo!
Okay. But yeah, but I hadn't quite picked up on. I mean, they do explain it in the book. The concept that the Men of Iron, like you said, are the reason the Imperium hates AI
Mm-hmm.
is because they messed around with this and then it all went terribly wrong.
Uh huh.
Yeah. So in that sense, okay. Yeah. Well, and then okay, to skip to the end of the book here. The reason that Gaunt really, the reason he decides to shut this thing down is because he had an interaction with a random psyker at some point
Mm-hmm.
who told him to destroy it.
Yep.
Like, okay, I guess.
Maybe the first draft of this book, like Gaunt was an agent of Zinch and like a really convoluted plan. Like he, you know, the changer of ways was like, let's pull all the strings and get everything in the right place, just to like
Right.
tease the Imperium and then destroy it. But maybe they actually would have been fine, and destroying it would have, and not destroying it would have actually been a big impact against Chaos. That's why maybe
Maybe.
maybe
I don't
unlikely
know, man.
unlikely.
There's some weird lines in there where this poor psyker is just like a mouthpiece for chaos, right?
Uh-huh. There are definitely
And
in the audiobook the Psyche's voice changes a little where it's just like, "Oh, I
yeah.
see you've been enjoying the sweet fruits." And he's like, "How did you know that?" It's like, "It's all down your shirt, silly." And then, "Also I am chaos and I've come to tell you."
Because that's how it happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid whiplash. It's a good scene. It's a good scene because Gaunt is terrified out of his frigging mind
Right.
at what's happening, but apparently still listens well enough to pick up on the important parts.
He's a very driven guy.
Yeah. So there's this. So there's the part where the psyker says, "If you don't destroy it, it will be the result of all this death and chaos and destruction and murder."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that's not why Chaos doesn't want this to happen. Chaos is fine with all of that stuff. That's their favorite thing. So what's really going on here? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But it works on Gaunt because Gaunt does have those motivations. He doesn't want to see more death and destruction and chaos and world ending.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um.
Chaos, man.
He,
Can't trust him.
look, I have a theory,
Okay.
but it's like 16 books deep, right? The long and short of it is maybe that Chaos couldn't control the Men of Iron, right? And so like we want it destroyed as much as like it is Chaos corrupted, but like it'll be a big problem for like other Chaos things, right? Like there'll be because like Chaos is four factions, you know, like the four gods.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Men of Iron would be independently Chaos corrupted, and they wouldn't be able to like directly control it. The other one is maybe it's a long con because if they don't destroy it, Gaunt dies, and there's something else they want to do.
There's something else they need him to do. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I could see that.
That would be my theory. 16 books deep. maybe it'll get paid off in the next book. It's like getting closer.
Right.
I'm like, come on.
Ugh, it's ridiculous.
Ugh.
That is too long.
Ew.
Also, I just want to point out that if there's a psyker that you capture as part of a war effort and they demand to speak with someone in your military and won't talk to anyone else, maybe look at that guy a little closely. Maybe the Inquisition would be like, so, buddies with a psyker, are we?
Psycho wants to talk to
Hmm.
you and only you, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
I assume the Psycho goes, okay, we've checked out your history, we have your entire file, right? And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
we do see that you were there at the arrest of this Psycho and had a brief
But
interaction. But
still,
you would
man.
think that would put like
Yeah.
a sticky note on your file that puts you at the top of every list for a little
Yeah,
while.
we've talked about this. I don't remember what book it was, but something like this happened before, and I was like, if I was a chaos demon, I would do this all the time. I would just put suspicion on people in the Imperium constantly by doing stuff like this. It would drive the Inquisition insane. Oh man,
Oh yeah,
so fun.
yeah, it would
Yeah.
drive the Inquisition insane, like they're not already.
No, but it would disrupt anything the Imperium was trying to do if they were constantly investigating. Looking at.
Like they're not already constantly investigating each other.
More chaos is always good for the Chaos Gods.
I'll argue with that.
The Inquisition can't constantly be looking at everybody. Look at the freaking guy that was Chaos Corrupted for decades in the last book.
True.
You just told me the Inquisition can't be everywhere last week. You said those very words.
I don't remember that. I mean, look, in here's the thing, it's vibes. In sometimes they
Yeah.
can't be everywhere, sometimes they can.
Yeah.
In the last book, it was like, okay, well, there needs to be a reason why the Inquisition did not suspect this Lord Militant, right? In another book with Dan Abnett, I think it's in one of the Ravenel books, one of the facilitators working for the Chaos Cult is like, I have to go out and appease my gods. I'm in a city where there is an Inquisition spire, like a conclave or whatever. There's dozens of these guys. I need to somehow kill 8 people at 8 past the minute on the 8th day of the 8th month, and I need to.
Right.
If I do that, they are going to notice. Even if it's like a random stabbing, they will somehow put all those dots together. So I need to, like, obfuscate the pattern a little. So it's on one hand,
Right.
they can and do monitor literally everything they can, and sometimes they're just not.
Right. Sometimes.
And
it's a big galaxy, man.
yeah, it's a big galaxy, and maybe the difference is that is where the Inquisition was on like home ground, and the other time they were on crusade, right? Like this is a fleet and is moving around. There wasn't an Inquisitor on board here. It was on like a different ship dealing with something else, and just happened to miss it for 10 years. 10 years, short time to them. Long time to us, short time to them.
I guess.
That's it's vibes. You gotta live with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. On the topic of Inquisition, back on Haldane.
Mm-hmm.
So it says he's like anatomically shifting around his face to like the word used is equine, which means horse.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I was really trying to imagine this, and I'm like, this is not working for me.
He had like elective surgery to have his facial sculpt into vaguely equine features. So
To scare people.
yeah, he just to be more scary as an Inquisitor. Yeah.
That's the weirdest shit. Like, what the hell, man?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But hey, probably works.
And then all of his plans get thwarted by some random guy, random commissar on a planet somewhere. Incredible.
Yeah, essentially.
Poor Haldane. Yeah.
Yeah. Who also, because of psychic feedback of puppeting his guy and getting his headshot in at the same time, blew up the command vehicle he was hanging out in. So
Sure did. Yep. Bad times all the way around. There are hazards to puppeting, people.
there are
Puppet responsibly.
Yeah.
I was not taken in by Abnett making you think that Ron was the puppet. I was like, nah. Nope. He tried. He tried his best to make me think it was.
He tried, but we already knew that Ron has a grudge against Gaunt, right? So it's like, okay,
right.
This is all too convenient, Dan. I'm not falling for it.
No, definitely not. I did like the buddy spy of his, whatever his name is.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Whatever. I did like him coming back into his life and being like, I felt like we had a real connection on these missions we did together 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't look the same like you did, but you know the right code words and you're basically acting the same way. So I'm going to trust you. But then having to be dragged into like, maybe you're not actually the same
Mm-hmm.
guy that I
Right.
thought you were 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That was pretty interesting. I thought that was good.
I do wonder how much of that change is Haldane's torture surgery, psychic manipulation, right? Because
Oh.
we find out that
Mm.
yeah, you've got to cut up a guy to turn him into a puppet, you know.
Right, right, right. Right. So maybe he looks different because of that.
Mm.
Yeah. The other thing is, I do wonder too if maybe he had these kinds of delusions of grandeur even when Gaunt knew him 20 years ago, but he just kind of kept them to himself.
It's
And now
possible.
that he's faced with power, it
Right.
comes out, right? It's always been there.
It's a definite possibility, but I think the way that we saw this guy operate, which was to find like the good salt of the earth down to
Yeah.
humble military guys who don't really know the whole picture and can be trusted to like just do their bit. I think that really spells out that this guy was he was on the level as far as an imperial spy is. Yeah.
So you think it was more with Haldane screwing with him?
I think it was Haldane.
You're probably right. I can see that. All right. Yeah, it's good. Is there anything else? I did kind of find it interesting, like the inter-imperial guard murdering that was going on.
Right.
They're like, as long as there's only like 2 or 3, the higher command will just let it go. Like, whatever. This
Yeah,
happens.
there'll be reprimands, but it'll be like latrine duty or something. that is something that is like not present in a lot of other guard books where it's like, yeah, the guard occasionally just murder each other. Like, it's a thing that happens, but it's a big deal, right? Like,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's a murder.
it's
Like,
a
you treat it
murder.
like a murder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the concept of the captain of the ship that they're on being this like giant man who's plugged into every aspect of the ship and can like see everything and feel everything. I was like, I don't know if we've done that outside of like a chaos ship where that seems like it'd be appropriate, you know?
Yeah, no, that's pretty. To me, that feels like a very normal 40k thing where it's like, especially for the Adeptus Mechanicus, because they were on a Titan ship at the time, right? Like, this is the thing that moves Titans. And Titans are driven by pilots who kind of plug into their machine and like bond with it.
Right.
So it kind of makes sense that like the captain of their ship would too, because it's like a big machine, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, it was appropriate. It was appropriately 40k.
yeah.
Like it's just weird and the.
I do really love his like he is bound to this chair and he's huge, he's fat, and he hasn't gotten up in like years. And so when he tries to like lean forward to get a better look at Gaunt, it's like and his skin was sticking to the synth leather of his chair, and it's like, oh. And this guy, I really liked it when he was like, the cargo is making a complaint, and they're like, not cargo, sir, passengers. He's like,
And he has to like correct himself a couple times later in the book, thinking of them as cargo. And he's like, no, wait, these are people.
yeah.
Amazing.
Good.
And then Gaunt's whole plan is to like distract him and make him so angry that he doesn't notice some of his dudes stealing information, which is pretty fine. Fine idea. Worked out, sort of.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly one of my favorite side characters is Try Again Bragg. The really big, not entirely smart character who is very honest and can carry a big gun by himself, and it definitely isn't an Ogryn. He's just a really big dude.
Yep. Huge.
But with terrible aim. And
right.
He has to take a second try. Try Again Bragg.
That's his literal nickname. Yeah.
It's not his literal nickname, it's his literal name. I don't think he's ever credited with a first name.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, it's a fun one.
Um, yeah. So our next book is Ghostmaker.
Is that what it's called?
I
Let me
believe.
see what my omnibus says.
And the Ghostmaker is, I think, technically a anthology in the way that it plays out. It's like a lot of little short stories. Oh, we also get more on Mad Larkin, the sniper.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Good shot, Larkin.
good shot, Lark.
Yep.
So,
So they're
huh?
I don't know. The contents for this says a ghost return, then first and only.
Return.
Yeah, a ghost return.
That is.
It is something that I read. Gaunt is doing some stuff. I don't know, man. Is it a random book
Oh,
they put in here that we weren't expecting?
oh, right. I forget you got the omnibus comes with short stories. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you read a Ghost Return, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because that would have been first. I don't know. I can actually look this up if I like it. There is it maybe appears on a another thing.
Okay.
A ghost. Nope, I've not read it. Um, and then the next one will be the lives in the ruins of their cities, and then after that it'll be Ghostmaker. So you'll have another short story in there. Read before you get to
Yeah.
it.
Then it's Ghostmaker. Then I have Necropolis.
Necropolis is the third novel, and you should have In
Uh-huh.
Remembrance, another short story after that.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're gonna
Okay.
we're gonna
So we're
skip
good.
those short stories, um,
All right.
because
So we're just doing Ghostmaker.
yep,
All
I'm
right.
I'm sure they're good and worth reading, and I mean you paid for it, so you might as well read it. But
Might as well.
they did not include them in any of the audiobooks, so I would have to buy
That's
them.
lame. Boo. Well, I'll inform you what they are next week then. How about that?
Excellent.
All right. Good. Anything else to do?
Nope, I think that's it.
All right. Good, good. Okay. Well, that's going to be it from us. This has
Oh,
been Falcon Paladin and Somicron. Something else Somicron has to say.
let's not mention DreamHack Dallas at all.
Okay.
Hey, Starcraft podcast. Once upon a
I
time.
mean,
Once upon a time.
yeah, right. Right.
Okay, wrap it up. Wrap it up.
All right. Again, that's us. We do podcasts here at twitch.tv/Somicron every week. Sometimes the days are different. Sometimes they're not. But you can check out the VODs at youtube.com/@Somicron, which is an excellent place to go. Subscribe there. And you can support the podcast at patreon.com/Somicron and by buying merch at falconpaladin.store. So thanks for hanging out. More Warhammer next week. Maybe a movie. Maybe we'll talk about StarCraft. Who knows what the plan is.
We sure
Thanks for
don't.
being here. And we will see you in a week or less. Who knows?
Bye.
Okay, bye.